All right, let's welcome in and say hello to Bleacher Report's Matt Miller. Matt, how are you?
I'm doing well, Haley. Thanks for having me back on. A little different than the last time we talked at the
Yeah.
Combine, but nevertheless, excited for the draft to get here.
You are no stranger to mock drafts. You do many. You were on here today because you were going to mock all the way through the Chargers pick. But just to kind of kick things off, I mean, the draft is almost here. What is this time of year like for you?
It's really hectic. It honestly is. There's the combination of, the show that I have to do, my podcast, Stick to Football 3 times a week, preparing for Bleacher Report's live coverage of the draft. But then also, half of my job, I always say, is to be a reporter. It's to be a journalist, to get stories from general managers, coaches, and scouts, and collect that information, try to vet it, figure out what's real, what's not, when I'm being lied to, when I'm not being lied to, and then put that puzzle piece together to try to accurately project what these teams are going to do.
All right, well, let's get started. The Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock. Who are they taking?
Yeah, I think this is easy. They're going to take Joe Burrow, the quarterback from LSU. I know the NFL doesn't want it announced beforehand, but I think when Commissioner Goodell makes that first pick from his basement next Thursday night, it is going to be Joe Burrow.
Washington Redskins at number 2.
Yeah, this one's another easy one. I know there's been some talk about quarterbacks, but I think they'll take Chase Young, the defensive end from Ohio State, a player who I changed up my grading scale this year, but he got a 99 out of 100 on the scale. So, in Madden, when a guy's a 99, they're a pretty special player. Well, that's Chase Young. He's a pretty special player. The Redskins have an easy pick there.
I had asked Cynthia Freeland this because she projected him to go to the Bengals at first overall. Is he the best player, in your opinion, in this year's draft?
He really is. And it's just the difference between a team that needs a quarterback and a team that doesn't. And the Bengals could draft him and it would make sense because I do believe he's the best player. But that positional value of the quarterback just makes Joe Burrow a little more important. But Chase Young is going to be a very, very good player. And you could argue he'll be a better player early on because of the lack of, that acclimation period is not as great when you're playing defensive end as opposed to quarterback.
All right, number 3, the Detroit Lions. This is a hot spot because we hear a lot of chatter about them possibly moving out, someone else trading in. What happens here at number 3 overall?
Yeah, I think we're hearing that because they would like to trade out. If they stay here, I think it'll be Jeff Okudah, the corner from Ohio State. We could see them get crazy and go Derek Brown from Auburn or Isaiah Simmons from Clemson, but the smart pick would be Jeff Okudah, which means 3 guys who played at Ohio State come off the board with the first 3 picks. So Urban Meyer did a pretty good job setting the table there.
It's easy to say that. All right, New York Giants up at number 4.
I think this is where the draft could get a little bit weird because we've all thought maybe they go offensive tackle. I actually think they're going to go with linebacker Isaiah Simmons from Clemson. And I say linebacker. This guy played everywhere. If you watch the national championship game, he played corner. He plays safety. He rushes the quarterback. He really is a do-it-all player. You guys have someone kind of like that in Derwin James. Isaiah Simmons is just a little bit bigger version of that.
All right, Miami Dolphins up at number 5.
And this is where I think the quarterback run might start with the Dolphins. I have them currently projected to take Justin Herbert, and I have been writing mock drafts on paper, tearing it up, throwing it in the trash, starting over. So it's going to be a quarterback here. All the intel out there right now says Justin Herbert, which could be an elaborate smokescreen. I personally think Tua Tagovailoa from Alabama is the better quarterback, but teams don't always take my advice. So I do think as of now, Justin Herbert's their guy in Miami.
All right, and number 6 overall, the Los Angeles Chargers. Who should they select, in your opinion?
I'm sure Chargers fans are going to be happy if the draft falls this way, but I would take Tua here, and I think it would be a hard decision to pass on a quarterback who, in his 2 years at Alabama, was electric. I mean, go back to coming in at halftime and replacing Jalen Hurts in the national championship game, leading that comeback win. The player that he's been, the person he is in the locker room, off the field, is special. And when you put him with an offense that has Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Hunter Henry. You add Trey Turner at offensive guard. That's a pretty special group. And I think Tua is the right kind of point guard who can come in and distribute the ball and get it out to those weapons. No disrespect to Tyrod Taylor, who I'm excited to see play. I was a big fan of Easton Stick last year as well. But I think if Tua's on the board, that's a pretty easy decision for the leadership in LA to make him the pick.
All right, well, there you have it. Tua Tagovailoa going to the Bolts per Bleacher Report's Matt Miller. Matt, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck in these next few days as we lead up to the draft.
I appreciate it, Haley. Thanks so much for having me.
Charger fans, want more? Subscribe here.